Nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Ephesians 5 verse 33. The infamous passage in Ephesians 5, one seemingly often quoted, whilst also being often hated, is a passage where Paul speaks to the relational dynamic that must be present in a marital relationship between husband and wife. Verse 22 starts off this section by saying, "Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord." This is, of course, the part of the passage that is often hated. But it is only hated because people have a warped perception of the word submit. This word is often perceived to mean beneath, or less than, or under control, or with no choice or autonomy. However, this is far from the truth, especially since the verse right beforehand, speaking to a general audience, says, submitting to one another in the fear of the Lord. So what is meant by submit? Well, the greatest example of submission that we have is actually Jesus himself. Right before Jesus is taken away by Roman authorities to be judged and ultimately crucified, Jesus goes to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray, saying, "Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." Here we see Jesus surrendering his will to submit to the will of the Father. Another gospel account sheds some more light on this scene. See, when the Roman army came to take Jesus away, Peter sought to defend and protect his Lord by drawing his sword and even managing to strike one of the soldiers and cut off one of his ears. But listen to Jesus' response. "Put your sword back in its place," Jesus said to him, "for all who live by the sword will die by the sword. Are you not aware that I can call on my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen this way?" Interestingly enough, Jesus says here that if he wanted to, he can call down 12 legions of angels to stop this from happening. He had no need for Peter's swordsmanship. But again, we see Jesus submitting his will to the word of God. Submission is ultimately about faith, trust, and love. Which leads us back to Ephesians 5 to the call of the husband. Husbands, love your wives as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her. The call of the husband is to love, but not this sappy, rom-com, cheesy type of love. No, a love that reflects the love of Christ. A love that seeks the best for the other. A love that gives his all, even unto death. An altruistic love, a sacrificial love. It goes on to say, husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does with the church. With a love like this, is it really such a tall order to ask for wives to respect their husbands? Love is often manifested in depth, as well as in more prosaic circumstances. It is the couple who are deeply sensitive to each other's needs and wishes, and each of whom constantly endeavors to enhance the happiness of the other. It is in these ways that love is most often revealed. And as always, think on these things.